Hi, everybody, and welcome to this exciting episode of the Joyful Money Podcast. I have an amazing guest for you today, and guys, you're going to love her so much. Her name is Carol Tice. Welcome to the show, Carol.
Thanks for having me, Joyce.
You're most welcome. So, why don't you start by introducing yourself and telling us what you do?
Sure thing. I built and sold a paid for community for life-changing money, and now I help other coaches, consultants, and experts follow in my footsteps at Community Growth Academy on Skool.
Nice. Okay, so give us a bit of background. Like, how did you get here? What was your journey like? I know you mentioned you're a coach and you've built a community, but just to give the audience a sense of who you are, how did your journey unfold?
Well, to go way back, I was a business journalist. And so I was spending a lot of time talking to business owners and entrepreneurs. I covered venture capital. I learned a lot about, how companies stay afloat, thrive. I wasn't really thinking, oh, I want to start my own business. I was enjoying being a reporter, but then I got laid off and I started freelancing. I had been a freelance writer also before. I did 12 years as a staff writer. I went back to freelancing and it just went really well. I thought I would go get another job, but I was making more money freelancing. So I kept doing it. And as I was doing it, this is like 2006, 7, 8, and then 2009, is the big economic crash. And I kept driving my business up. I'm like, these macroeconomic conditions don't have to affect little old one me. There's still enough business for me out there. And what I realized is that a lot of writers did not have that attitude and they were like, oh my God, the market's crashing bad and I can't find any clients. And so I started a blog about how to make good money as a freelance writer. And I think my initial vision was I would write a book that explained everything and then yeah, I would be rich at the end. Obviously, that's in heaven. And I kept going. And then it was a blog-based business and I wasn't making a lot of money. But so to make it better, I joined a paid community for bloggers. I joined A-List Blogger Club, which was run by Mary Axe and Leah Babata from Zen Habits. And I loved it. I was like, this is amazing. I love it. There's so much information. I'm talking to all these people. And there's nothing like this for freelance writers, and there really needs to be. So that was cooking around in my mind, and I ended up going to a online business conference in Chicago and kind of came home with the feeling that I should stop musing on the idea that there should be a community for freelance writers and I should put the hammer down and launch it. And I think about I just in 90 days it was up. I like hired A-List Blogger Club's webmaster to, make it be a community. I'm not a technical person at all and opened the doors and started going. And I had my blog audience to kind of market the community to. And it just ended up being an incredible model. I had done one on one coaching, I had done small group coaching. And what I learned doing that is that one on one coaching doesn't always have the greatest results because they don't have the peer support and that the community model gets more results. And what the community model does is it allows you to create like reliable recurring monthly income instead of chasing those $10,000 clients and marketing. My community was $25 a month. It's a whole lot easier, a whole lot less marketing to sell a $25 thing than a $10,000 thing. So I came out of journalism. I wasn't a marketer. I don't love marketing. I like transforming people's lives and helping them make more money. It's like more exciting to me than if I had made them more money. It's just very gratifying to give people a better lifestyle than they had, and show them how to really run their business. And so doing paid community versus just sort of looking for one-on-one coaching clients, you have more reliable income, you do less marketing, and you can reach many, many more people. You can impact, I had 14,000 or so Den members. Nobody has that many one-on-one coaching clients in a decade. In a year, what are you going to see? 30, 50 people. It's such a smaller impact. So those were the things that all appealed to me about the model. And I was hooked. And there were a couple of inflection points in the business where things kind of got stuck, and I can talk about how I kept it growing. There were sort of two times where we hit a ceiling of membership kind of leveled off.
Awesome. So then, tell us more about community building and how that compares to like running a group coaching program, because the audience of this podcast, they are coaches and consultants who are running their own businesses. And so, like, I'm just curious from their point of view, which is my point of view as well. Like, I have been in many communities in the past, and because I didn't get the individual attention, I wasn't getting results. So now I only work with coaches one on one. So that's a different school
Hmm.
of thought to where you are coming
Yeah,
from, where you're like, oh, I'll sell $25 and I'll get thousands of people. But I believe that it takes the same amount of effort to sell a $27 course as it is to sell a 5K program. That's how I see it, right? Because regardless of how cheap your membership is, you still have to communicate the offer. You still have to tell
sure.
the person what they're going to get. So I just want you to shed more light on that.
Well, so first of all, to talk about like small group coaching versus community learning in a community setting, I think in small group coaching, you're still sort of the main, source of information, and everyone is still kind of going to you. Where in community, that's ideally not how it's happening. Ideally, you're kind of facilitating. You have information for them, you've put a course together or whatever, you're doing a live training, but a lot of the learning is peer to peer. You're more facilitating kind of how peers are executing on the material and supporting each other and giving each other the courage to keep going. What I found with coaching writers was just that there's a lot of what I like to call give up itis. When it's just you off in a corner by yourself, do you really do your tasks? Do you really do what the coach has told you to do? And my experience was often, no, they don't. But if they have an accountability buddy they got in their community that they call every week who kicks their butt, they do it. And I actually was just in Europe for almost a month, and I saw three of my community members, and they all reported from the first back in the first community that they still have the accountability buddies they got back, like a decade ago. They're still meeting. So you're more connecting people and getting them to support each other to really execute on what you've taught them. And I don't know, I just found I got a lot more results. And I know a lot of coaches kind of don't care if they get results. They just want to collect their check. But I'm not like that. I want people to tell me I got a better gig, I got a raise, or in my new community, I launched my community and has members, I'm earning, things are going because of what you taught me, and I just found that the results were better. The marketing, it's like to sell a high ticket thing, you're creating elaborate funnels and doing 2-hour webinars. And to me, it was so much more marketing. We basically had a set of emails we sent to the list I had from the blog, and we could recycle them from past campaigns. And it just was not super tough to do. And the other thing is, it's just so stable when you have hundreds and hundreds of members. It's not like when a client quits you and they were a big ticket client, and then you're like, now I have a big gap in my income. Like that just basically never happens. And also, once you're operating community and you're making courses and making assets for it, it's like you have your hands on the income levers all the time. If membership's going down, you can go, oh, well, let's make some money. Let's do a secret offer to only people on our waiting list and let them in right now, and just get another 50, 100 members in the door. Or let's sell a bundle of courses outside the community. You could always do one-off sales. There's just a lot of options to bring in the money that you need. So since I was the sole support of a family of five, I really liked that model. So my husband had developed a medical issue and was staying home with our kids, and yeah, so the reliable money to me was fantastic.
Okay. So like just piggybacking on what you just said, so it seems like you have to constantly be creating courses to keep people in the membership, correct?
Well, that's what I thought, but I watched my buyer of that first platform, and they're not creating new stuff. They're just marketing it, and there's members, it's still going on. I felt like I always wanted to have new things, and new things are always happening in our sector. If I was doing it now, we'd be writing about AI, how to use it ethically. There's always new things occurring that you want to develop information around. But that's kind of why I looked at selling, was that I felt like I had kind of taught what I knew, like it was all in there now. And I felt like it could live on without me. And that's the other thing that's so important to know about paid community is most coaches have a business named My Name Coaching, and they do not have a saleable business. There's no exit here. You're the business. You got to work till you drop. And since I am a more mature business owner, you start to think about what's the end game here. And paid community is a saleable asset. Everything you've created, all the courses that are in there, and all of the conversations that the community is having, you can sell that off, and it can continue to help people, which is also really cool. I still get like DMs on LinkedIn from people who are just joining, and they're like, "Oh, thank you for creating this," and um, it can live on without you. And also, you can take breaks from it. It can operate without you while you're still owning it. You can delegate almost everything in the community. And one of the people in my current Community Growth Academy, he outsourced his whole launch and doesn't do any marketing or check, or, he goes on long vacations and delegates everything in the community. So there's more freedom to be out of the office to me.
Okay. All right. So, on the Joyful Money podcast, it's a sales and business growth podcast. So, I know you mentioned your email list, like your old email list. So, are you saying that's your only way of getting new people into your membership? How do you do your marketing to get new eyes into your offers?
Well, in the old one, it was mostly blog-based marketing, and just LinkedIn is sort of I'm all in on LinkedIn. That's my big platform. And with Community Growth Academy, we have tried a few different things, and now I'm building a YouTube channel for it and appearing on podcasts. Are kind of the two marketing angles. And I found there was surprising crossover between the freelance writer world or people already know me, and people who wanted to build paid communities. So I've actually had a lot of people come over to this new one from there. But mostly, yeah, it was basically a content marketing play because I'm a writer. That was an easy way for me to attract members. And, you can always repost that content
Hmm.
on as a LinkedIn article or wherever.
Okay. So tell us about your paid community. Like, who are your target audience? Like, who are you trying to attract into the community? And what do you help people with?
In terms of Community Growth Academy, the one I'm doing now.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah,
your paid community.
yeah, the one I have now. I sold the Freelance Writer one in 2021, and the one I have
Okay.
now, which started like at the end of last year, is just for experts, coaches, and consultants who might be interested in this model but don't really know where to start, how it works, how would I build for launch, how would I get an audience for this, how do I find out what to offer? So there's a core course in CGA that just kind of takes you through every step. What's your best opportunity? What is already out in the marketplace? How will you be different from that? Um, what do you need for launch? How to do a pre-launch survey and find out what initial content you should have that would make people join, and what you're going to add after that. How to run a first month and first year calendar of activities and content that you're going to be delivering, and how to prepare the business and sell it. How to prep it and sell it in the end. So it kind of just goes from A to Z.
Okay, love that so much. So then, for people listening, what would be your top tips for them to grow a community?
Well, most of the people I'm encountering don't have one yet, though I have had people who started one and they shut it down. It wasn't happening. Um, the question is, is there interest in what you're doing? Do you have expertise that you feel is unique to share? And are you tired of the pursuing the one ticket clients? Do you want to have a bigger impact? Do you want more reliable income? Do you want to maybe have marketing that's simpler to execute and it's not as heavy of a lift? Uh, and would you like to build a saleable asset as a coaching business? Because that's the community model. And if it is, then you start exploring who would it be for? Who has money? Where does what you offer connect with people who have money? And I actually have a lot of people who it's sort of a passion project. It's like a personal passion. One of our members moved to Portugal and she's doing a platform called We're Moving to Europe, all about how to figure out where you want to move, how it will work, where would your kids go to school, all of the steps to making an expat move in Europe. And another one is into food freedom, like grow your own food and get really healthy food. And she's building a resource for people interested in that where everyone can contribute and she's kind of curating that into a community that other people can access. So I'd say that's kind of the range. And so we kind of have two groups of people. I feel like we have ideators who have multiple ideas and are still exploring kind of what's their best opportunity. And we have what I think of as launchers, people who have an audience. They've been coaching on X topic for years and years. They know what they do. And they have an audience that likes what they bring. And they really just need to build their launch and open the doors. So we kind of have those two tracks running. We have an ideators lounge where ideators can bounce ideas off each other.
Okay, sounds very interesting. So, just a few minutes ago, you talked about the ups and downs you've experienced in your business, as many entrepreneurs experience. So, I want you to tell us what kind of pulled you through. How did you keep your mindset up to kind of go through all of those ups and downs to be where you are today?
Well, yeah. So we had in my first business, we had two inflection points where membership didn't stop growing. Like when I opened the doors on Freelance Writers Den, it grew pretty rapidly to about 500 members, which I thought would fulfill all my dreams, but I didn't know what the overhead would be like, which back then was a lot because platforms like Skool and Circle and Kajabi didn't exist, and we had to hand build everything, and it was incredibly expensive to maintain and work on. Um, so I was like, well, I want to keep growing, and we're just stuck at 500. And when I first opened, we were always open. So this is one of the big decisions that we have a training on is, are you going to be always open or are you only open for focused campaign membership campaigns for a week or a month or whatever, a day? Uh, that you're open. And yeah, when I ran it by my mentors, they were like, oh, honey, you got to close the doors because people aren't joining because they feel like, well, I can join next week. I can join tomorrow. I can join in a month. I can join anytime. You need to create more exclusivity to the community where people have to get in on the opportunity now. And when we did that, it started to grow again and went to about 1,000. And that's when we really got stuck again. And I ended up actually hiring a business consultant on that one because at that point I had been approached by buyers and I had started to learn about what buyers would look for. And I could see that I needed to drive it up. I needed more members for it to make sense for a buyer. And this coach took a look at my business and saw that we were kind of going in a lot of different directions. I had started a partnership with another woman that was a separate LLC. So sometimes I was selling those things. I had a elite coaching program. I did end up having sort of an upsell coaching program for advanced freelance writers who wanted to double their income, who were like already established. And that was a kind of a small group coaching thing. So a buyer's not interested because that's going away when I go away. So she was like, you've got to stop selling all of these other spin-off projects and you're making too many asks. It's buy this, do my coaching, do this, do that. All roads lead to join the den. And so when we fixed that and started just kind of having one marketing focus, then we were able to drive it up to 1,500. And that's when I got to sell it in the depths of COVID winter to someone that I never got to be in a room with. So that was a super crazy experience.
Awesome. So then, so currently, is this your only community, the one where you're teaching entrepreneurs how to build their own community?
Right now, yeah, that's my only online business activity. In my free time, I ghostwrite books for people. I still have my own kind of freelance writing business. But in terms of online business, yeah, I'm all in on Community Growth Academy. And I'm
Awesome.
really enjoying it. We're just kind of starting to come out of beta. I really kept it small to learn from my initial members about what they needed and wanted in the community. And I've really enjoyed it. I didn't know I would enjoy being small like that. I was, in my first
Mm,
community, I was always like, more members, more, more, more. I want to drive it up, up, up. Like I really was focused on growth. And for the past 6 months, I've been really focused on learning about this new audience and how to get what I know about paid community after more than a decade of doing it and kind of encountering every possible, problem, uh, how to how to help other people build that so they could have
mm,
the kind of financial freedom that it offers. So I feel like I've learned a ton from my members and I'm excited about what they're building and opening and, getting going.
amazing. Thank you so much, Carol. So people are listening, they're like, I want to learn more. I want to take the next steps. Where can they go?
Well, you can find us at skool.com/community growth academy with dashes between those words. Or you can check us out at communitygrowth.school also.
Awesome. So,
And
listeners, I'm going to have all of those links in the show notes. So, grab those links and go check Carol out. Carol,
and
before
you
we
and you have
go,
a free handout. You have a free handout, yeah,
awesome.
for folks. That's the case study of how I built my first community.
Awesome. So, why don't you tell us before we go one last thing for our audience?
Well, you wanted to talk about how I live in my RV now.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So before we hit the record button, we were just chatting about your RV and how you have this amazing experience. So go ahead and share.
Yeah, well, the income I had from doing my first paid community allowed us to have an amazing lifestyle. We had a 5 bedroom house on Lake Washington here in Seattle. And then our kids, graduated and stuff. And we decided what we really wanted to do was travel a lot. And we bought this RV and we went full time in it over a year ago. And we love it. And everyone thinks it's so fascinating. But yeah, we just got back from a week in Oregon. I love about it most is not unpacking. When you get home from a trip and you're like, oh, I gotta unpack. And like now I don't. I am in my house. I bring my house with me. In the winter in Seattle, you may know it rains a lot. And so we go down south and we're in Arizona and California and stuff. So it just allows us to, I don't know, really keep paddleboarding and biking and hiking and enjoying what we do. My husband fishes a lot and we love it.
I love this
Sorry.
so much, Carol. Question from my own curiosity. So, like, as you move between states, do you need a license to like park your RV somewhere or you just park anywhere? Like, how does it work?
Depends on where you are and what you're doing. There's Bureau of Land Management land in the American Southwest that you can buy a pass for, and then you just park. There's RV parks. There's all kinds of options. I There's websites like Boondockers Welcome and stuff that give you ideas of places you can stay. And
Awesome.
there's a lot of ways to play it here in Seattle. We have a space in my cousin's driveway that
Hmm.
allows me to play with their adorable 2-year-old and hang out and just have a place to be.
I love this. Love it so much. Thank you so much, Carol. It's been a joy having you on the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Hey, very quickly before you go, I just wanted to take a moment to thank you from the bottom of my heart for spending time with me today. I hope today's episode gave you something powerful to add to your business toolbox, something you can come back to anytime you need a little extra motivation in your business. If you loved today's episode, the best way you can support me and the show is to leave me a review and also to share this with an incredible businesswoman like yourself. And if you're ready to create consistent 10K months with ease and alignment, I invite you to apply to join my 6 months mastermind. Visit johnnyroland.com to book your free complimentary discovery call. I cannot wait to help you step into your next level. Until next time, stay aligned, stay confident, and keep creating joyful money. Bye for now.